Now, as we all know, Nintendo's Japanese, and you know what that means. Anime. Wait, no, wrong thing. I mean weird commercials. As most of you know, they have been making Zelda titles for years upon years, and every time a new one was announced, they had to promote it, of course. And so they started to make all kinds of material for that, with some being impressive, and others being, very odd. So today we will have a look at the weirdest ones. Number 5. Now, my favorite Zelda game of all time is certainly The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, with its interesting world, character, story and setting. It was the 6th main installment of the series, first released on a Nintendo 64 in 2000. The title was unique among the Zelda games because it includes a time system that spanned 3 days, and this cycle must be reset or a moon crashes into the world. Ganondorf isn't even seen as the villain. Instead, you're fighting some weird demon mask that started to terrorize a different world Link ends up in. So, how are you in Hylia's name supposed to market a game like this? It was so incredibly different. Well, Nintendo's answer was this: one of the most odd and unsettling video game commercials I have ever seen. It has dark, unsettling music, a moon that's slowly falling, and people freaking out as soon as they notice. All of this is incredibly confusing and a bit uncomfortable. Heck, even scary for some kids who went from watching SpongeBob to this.
I love watching SpongeBob. Wait, this isn't SpongeBob, this is scary, what?
So, with your average kid reacting like that, it probably wasn't very popular. Although I bet it made some people really curious about the story of the game, and it does kind of hint towards it and tries to recreate the setting of the game. But in the end it looked more like some sort of doomsday commercial than anything else. But hey, the game still sold pretty well, even though the commercial was a bit, crazy. Especially with all those random screens showing the game, like they were hypnotizing you or something. Number 4. Almost all the Zelda games have some sort of weird gimmick. Ocarina of Time with its whole 7-year time travel thing, Wind Waker which had sailing, Majora's Mask with a 3-day cycle, and way more. But there was one Zelda title that had such a weird one that Nintendo also made commercials based around it. But this one is quite next level, to be honest. It's for Skyward Sword, which was the first Zelda game with motion-controlled sword fighting. It was the 16th main installment game of the series, made for the Wii and released in 2011. Now, this commercial starts off like this: in the sky with a sword falling down. Looks cool, right? Wrong.
Because you are about to die!
Well, not really, because you are fine, but the people in the commercial have a bit of a problem. Because Nintendo is attacking this poor city by throwing life-size Zelda collector's items from the sky. Now in the commercial, it's an epic thing that happens because Destiny, become Link, blah blah blah, something with a triforce. But let's be real here. This is absolutely terrifying. These things just crash straight through houses and apartments. Look at this woman and her cat who almost get a heart attack when a Master Sword crashes through their house.
I love reading books in my free time, oh my god!
And the weird thing about it all is that a lot of people who see this happen don't even flinch and just have the biggest smiles on their faces. And why does Nintendo do this? So they can pick up the sword. Whoa, you Link, oh, so cool, whoa, you can do that in the new Zelda. Even though it didn't really work like that and was quite buggy and weird at times, so slight false advertisement? Maybe, but it made for one hell of a commercial. Number 3. Now, when I say the words The Legend of Zelda, a lot of people think about 2 things. Breath of the Wild, but also Ocarina of Time. And while the commercials of the first one I mentioned are quite tame, the second title has a really weird one. This game was the 5th main installment of the series and the first to be released for the Nintendo 64. Now this title was one of the most highly anticipated of its era, thanks to the fact that the game is now in 3D. Everything players once knew about their beloved franchise had changed, and so Nintendo had to do their best to show how cool this new style is. However, one of the commercials that was supposed to do this was taking it, a bit too literal, and thanks to that, it was very uncomfortable. It starts off with the N64 logo that goes all over the place, making it look like an 8-year-old who just had his first sip of an energy drink. So it already starts off in an, interesting way. But Now we get to the best part. Every now and then you will see some small portions of gameplay in all kinds of different places, like the Fire Temple and a whole lot more. But the funny thing is the reactions of the girl playing it in between those sections, accompanied by amazing sounds. Now the first thing that came into my mind as soon as I heard her once is some weird anime compilation on YouTube. I think you know what I mean by this. Overall, it's just off and basically comes down to bits of gameplay and every now and then. Not sure what Nintendo was going for, but it's odd instead of interesting, to be honest. Number 2. If I had to pinpoint one moment in history where we mortals saw the weirdest stuff on TV, then it would 100% be the 90s. The amount of completely insane commercials and programs from that era is enough to keep you entertained and amazed for a lifetime. And of course, Nintendo also had to make some stuff in that style. Good old, weird shock value. That was the name of the game. So they made one of those when Link's Awakening was coming out. This was the 4th main installment and the only Zelda title on the original Game Boy released in 1993. And to market this new handheld title, which was the first of its kind, they had to grab your attention. So they did. The commercial starts off quite normal, but quickly things start to change and they get a bit weird. The cool skater guy walks to his friend and says hi. I think. I'm from the Netherlands, I'm not Japanese, for frick's sake, I don't know. And of course his friends respond. And that's where things get weird, because they turn around and have their mouths open in an extreme and unnatural way. And that's because of the thing they're looking at. And of course their friend checks it out, ending up with the same face. And why, you might ask? Well, Link's Awakening, of course, the new one, crazy Zelda game for the Game Boy. I think you can fully understand now why this commercial is basically just weird shock value in order to get people interested. Even during the gameplay sections, they're extremely hyped, and gosh, they will let you know how important this new title is. And the scariest part is, the curse doesn't end with them, because a new curious person approaches them. To be honest, all of this stuff kind of looks like some weird Japanese horror. Like something straight from Junji Ito or something. He has come up with more than enough weird stories like Uzumaki. It's quite clear that Japan made this commercial. Number 1. And now we have arrived at our very last one. An advertisement so crazy that most people will be stunned the first time they see it. It was actually made in America, so this time no wacky Japanese stuff, and was made past 1990. However, it beats all of them. The commercial was made for the release of Zelda 4 Swords Adventures, which was the 11th main installment of the series, made for the GameCube, and released in 2004. Now, alright, the first shot of this commercial looks normal. A woman sitting in a chair, and on the opposite side is a guy on the couch. But as soon as this man utters his first lines, I'm confused.
Woe be me.
Excuse me? What did he even say? Woe be me or something? That's what I hear at least. And even more important, why does he all of a sudden teleport away? Which is accompanied by animal sounds like a seagull and monkey. What is even happening here? I'm confused right from the start, and things get even worse. He goes all over the place talking about the game to this woman who looks extremely confused the whole time. To be honest, it looks like he's in some sort of psychosis, hallucinating everything he's talking about. He even gets all up in her face at some point, which makes it even more uncomfortable, even for the viewer. And now we get to the best part about this entire thing. It's freaking glorious. Because at the end of it, the woman looks at him confused and says, "Who are you?" Who cares about logical scripts or good commercials? Woo, just make something random and it will work, I guess. We are Nintendo. And just guess what the guy does. Yeah, exactly. Smile at her, very creepy, which probably weirded her out even more. This is for sure the weirdest Zelda commercial I have ever seen. And I have no idea why I ever made this. There's barely any gameplay, and it doesn't even show off what you can do with this game in the Game Boy. Clearly, even in 2004, Nintendo wasn't really certain what to do with their advertising. Which might explain why the GameCube and this title didn't do very well. But we got at least one thing from all of this. One of the most disconnected and odd commercials in human history. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed. If you want to watch more videos, be sure to click those lovely annotations on the screen right now. Leave a like, leave a lovely comment telling me that I suck or that I'm great, or something in between, I don't know. And subscribe and click the bell button so you won't miss any future content.